Hey, water signs, welcome in. This is a look at July, the energy of July 2026. Um, so I'm just going to tell you what I was hearing as far as July goes, and then we'll pull a few cards here. Um, but what I kept hearing was behind the veil, barriers hide the heart of the matter. So I feel like the month of July is bringing in the opportunity to look at barriers that are around your heart, barriers that maybe hold you back from connecting. Um, the other thing that I kept seeing was the energy of Aries and Virgo. So to me, that feels like details inform action. So paying attention to little details. It could be like little epiphanies, it could be noticing a pattern in your life, but it's going to be centered around the heart of the matter, your ability to connect, to love, to express yourself. So paying attention to details that come up around that. The other thing I kept seeing was a clock tower, so I did feel like now is the time. um, and it feels like whatever patterns you're noticing, little details that are coming up, they're really important. So pay attention to them. The other thing I kept seeing was figs, and that felt like the most important message for this month. And figs represent peace, abundance, beauty. But the thing that stood out the most was awakening to truth, and releasing attachments that block your spiritual flow. So, awakening to your truth. And I feel like noticing the barriers around your heart are going to help you tune into you awakening to your truth, whatever that is. So, water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, are you ready to peek behind the curtains and see the inner working of your world? That is the question we're asking for July. So, what from your past needs to be laid to rest? Water signs, what from your past needs to be laid to rest? Let's see what we got here, water signs. Oh my gosh. This came up in Cancer's reading. Eight of Wands, rushing around for the sake of rushing around, doing and going just to be doing something. I also feel like this is a way that you avoid yourself. Um, yeah, I feel like this is a way that you've been avoiding yourself. So this is probably a behavior that maybe you've done since you were a kid. It's a way of avoiding. Um, I feel like it's a way of avoiding feeling how you feel. I think it's a coping mechanism for sure. So maybe the important thing to kind of pay attention to is how do you deflect, and and perhaps it's by constantly going and going and going, not allowing yourself to sit still, not allowing yourself to have downtime. This could also be overly involved in other people's problems. Um, so when you're doing that, what are you avoiding? And then take that back to your past. When in the past have you done that? And what were you avoiding? It's time to take a look at that and be done with that. I feel like for many of you, it's just avoiding your how avoiding expressing your feelings. Another thing you could look at is why have you felt like you shouldn't be able to express your feelings? You know, what comes up for you when you think about that or you feel into that? What is coming up? You know, maybe as a child weren't allowed to express your feelings. That's not something that you did in your family. Take a look at that, because it's important to understand it the best that you can understand it, and then let it go. You don't need to overanalyze it. Just notice that it's a pattern that started as a child. It's a pattern that it's a coping mechanism that you still have now as an adult, and it's time to be done with that. So take a look at what that is and what comes up. And then once you've laid this to rest, once you have made some peace with that, what is then illuminated or set free within you? What is then illuminated and set free? What is then illuminated for you? What are you able to see differently? I feel like July feels like a really deep month to really get a lot of feedback on your internal processes and what's going on internally. And that's kind of what I mean by taking a look behind the veil, taking a look behind the curtain. It's understanding your inner workings. So, what is set free? What is illuminated for you? We got the Page of Pentacles in reverse. I find this interesting because a lot of these cards, or both of these cards, came up in Cancer's birthday reading. What is set free? Your ability to explore, your ability to be curious, to ask questions without fear of judgment or reprimand. This does feel like inner child healing here. I'm hearing inner child freeing. I see like a cage being open and this little kid coming out. A lot of inner child healing here for water signs in the month of July. Allowing yourself to be able to express yourself, ask questions, be curious without fear of being reprimanded. And also, maybe there's something that you would love to learn, or something you would like to explore that you never really felt like you could do before. Or maybe you were too worried about how other people would view you if you did that. And this could forge a new path forward for you. This could branch out into something, a new endeavor, or, something. Interesting. Okay. Now is the time to take action on what? Now is the time to take action on what? Now is the time to take action on what? I do feel like for all of the water signs, it really is a time to prioritize yourself. Now is the time to take action on what? What do you need to take action on? We've got the King of Wands in reverse. I feel like this is representing you. This is mastering your expression, mastering your ability to express yourself to others in a healthy way. Um and I'm wondering, so try not to take offense to this. I'm wondering if maybe the way you have expressed yourself in the past has been passive aggressive. Maybe you have used manipulation, or yeah, it's not a great way of expressing yourself. It isn't owning your expression. I feel like it's time to take action on how you express your emotions. So being straightforward and direct rather than being passive aggressive or um, manipulating. Um, Now is the time to take action on that. Take action on how you express yourself. Be straightforward. Lay it all out there. It is always important to keep other people's feelings in mind, but I feel like and this might be kind of clunky at first, but I feel like don't worry about that so much because you already worry about that too much. Um, Express yourself, be very straightforward, direct. Don't worry about how someone else may feel. Express yourself and be honest. Be honest and authentic about how you feel. Be honest and authentic about what's on your mind. This is owning your power, your energy as being courageous, bold, outgoing. Water signs, I do feel like you're being led down, we could say being led down a more fiery path. And I think that's going to be really good because it's owning your power and being very bold and straightforward, but also being entirely authentic. But you're not worried about how other people might take you. You're not worried about being too much or seen as too much or, you know, whatever that is. And I do feel like a lot of this is um childhood stuff that's being healed. And really understanding that your thoughts, your expressions, your ideas are valid and the world needs them. The world needs you to be authentic and to express yourself in a really authentic way. Straightforward. No, stop the passive aggressive stuff. Although sometimes I will admit it can be kind of fun to be passive aggressive because some people don't get it, and that can be fun. But you're being invited to not do that. All right, water signs. What truth are you awakening to in the month of July? What truth are you awakening to? Going back to the energy of the fig. What truth? And I see like a fig, you're taking the outer leaves off the fig, you're opening up this fig to reveal the truth. What truth are you awakening to? Is it that you matter, that you're important, that it's time to express yourself? We've got the Nine of Swords. Look at this. We got the Queen of Wands. I feel like this is the energy that you are evolving into. The Nine of Swords, this is not being ruled by fear or anxiety or what could happen. All the what ifs, you're stepping away from that. You're starting to realize how much over analyzing or reading into things it not only exhausts you, but it's often not even accurate. You're stepping out of that. And interesting here, if you can see, there's this person in the hammock, and then the sun is starting to come up, and then we've got this Queen of Wands. I feel like this is you really realizing how much your thoughts and fears have burdened you over the years, and it's not just feeling burdened, it's noticing how you've made decisions based on fear or based on how other people might perceive you. And it's led you down roads of inauthenticity. It's led you down roads that you never really wanted to go down in the first place, but you did it for someone else or because of fear or whatever. You're starting to notice that pattern and you're stepping out of that. You're not doing that anymore. You are allowing yourself to be bold and courageous and to hold space not only for yourself, but for others in a different way. So this isn't pushing people away from you, but it's allowing people to be in your presence, but in a different way. You're holding space for others in a different way. You're holding space for yourself in a different way. And, you're prioritizing. you. You're prioritizing your authentic expression. It matters. And I think people are really going to pick up on, um, they're going to pick up on that. And that's okay. There could be some people that turn away from you, that move out of your life. And that's okay because you're not accommodating them. And that's why they were there. They weren't there for you. They were there because they loved the way you accommodated them. So be bold, be courageous. Look at that sunflower, look at the flame. Like, she is not afraid of anything. She knows she can handle whatever is coming her way, and she can do it in a really honest and authentic way, a commanding way. Wow, very powerful. All right. Water signs, that just gave me chills. I'm really excited for water signs. This is fantastic. All right, final message for water signs for the month of July. And I will be doing some mid-year, because we're halfway through the year, some mid-year check-in readings. So those will be coming soon. So watch for those. And be sure to check your sun, moon, rising, and Venus. Look at that. Card number 5. The seer of healing. Rest, let it go, see it differently. That just sums it up perfectly. Rest, let it go, see it differently. Fantastic. I love the bird. I love the nautilus there. Looking forward, again, some fiery energy here. Really, really beautiful. Moldavite. I work with Moldavite water signs. I think that would be a great stone for you guys for the month of July. All right, take great care, and I'll talk to you soon.